Ever since COVID, there's a lot of people coming from other industries. Look, there's a lot of good people coming, and I don't want to discourage anybody. I think their expectations are here, and the reality is here. So hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, right? So like financially, if you think you're going to make 30 million, leave your job and make 30 million of volume and have a certain salary, it's hard. You're going to be disappointed.
As a new broker, you try and touch a bit of everything. My mentality is just never say no. Don't ever refuse a file. You always take the file and bring it in, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. So that ties into your mentality of going out and getting business. So if we can add value to someone, we're knocking on their door. So financial planners, real estate agents, really anyone, even mortgage specialists in different banks that we don't necessarily do business with for everything. We'll build a relationship with them because we might end up sending a file to them or vice versa. My niche of something that I want to target now, which is just a new avenue I want to explore, would be, let's say,
drive. And I think because we're entering a tough market, the clouds are going to be out there. The brokers who don't have their drive are not going to make it. It's very simple.
Le domaine du courtage est en constante évolution. Dans une ère technologique où le changement est presque assuré et inévitable, il faut plus que jamais rester à jour et s'adapter aux tendances innovatrices de notre domaine. Vous voulez apprendre des meilleurs courtiers hypothécaires et immobiliers du Québec? Vous voulez devenir un leader dans le courtage? Voici le podcast qu'il vous faut. Les courtiers du Québec avec Seroujan Kenishalingam.
All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to the Brokers of Quebec. I have a three-way conversation today with two mortgage brokers, one with 16 years of experience. And we have a new broker, just started a couple of months ago. And what's very interesting about him is very passionate, he's very young also. So let's get to know him. Like, what's the challenge of the business as a new broker? He's only 22 years old, if you don't mind telling your age.
yeah,
David
22, yeah.
and Claudio Nirchi. I'm not going to say your name, your last name.
Last name stuff,
Yeah.
complicated.
So guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. Really watch your podcast. It's great, and you're doing really good stuff for the industry.
Thank you so much, man. Coming from a guy with 16 years of experience is very, I'm very grateful.
Sure.
So what did you like with 16 years of experience? Like you pretty much know everything, right? So what do you
Not
still watch?
Not at all, man. I learn every day.
It's amazing.
It's a challenge, and you learn new stuff, especially in our business. You know that it's changing and evolving. So there's no knowing everything in our business.
Exactly. That's the reason why I do the podcast, and I stay. My mind is always open to learn, because even with 5 years of experience, even though I do B-lending and private lending, like there's always stuff to learn. Always, like, banks rate change, rules change, and laws change. So it's very important. So thank you guys. Thank you, David.
It's a pleasure.
So you're the one who pushed Claudio to be in the podcast.
I initiated for sure. I've been watching the podcast for a while now, since I was studying about a year ago. So it's look, I always said I'll end up on the podcast someday. So I made the jump, contacted you, and then now we're here. Yeah,
that's
he
great.
took the lead on it. He initiated stuff, which I really like about him. He initiates a lot of activities, which is great, and I'm always ready to support.
You know what? Like when you visualize something, at the end of the day, you get to put the work. You're there, like. So thank you guys. So Claudio, what about you? 16 years of experience. What's your story? How did you become a mortgage broker?
Yeah, so I started working TD Bank, saw those mortgage files coming in my desk, making clients sign, and I saw those crazy rates coming in, the files from brokers. Asked a few questions, and I realized that it's an industry that had just started. It was in infancy. So Multi-Prêts was I contacted back in the day the Claudio, and we hit it off, and she said, why don't you come in and give it a try? And 16 years later, I'm still here. I've seen a lot of stuff happen in the industry. We were doing zero down 40 years when I first started.
Zero down 40
zero
years.
down 40 years, my friend. The mortgages were just good.
Was it easy that time? Like having clients, getting more business, because it was easier for the clients to get a mortgage, right?
Yeah, I think when I first started, it was easier. Yeah. Although people didn't know what we did, so it was more explaining what we were all about. But I think that, yeah, it was easier because we had a lot of opportunity in terms of doing different types of mortgages, 0 down, 40 years. But then as it evolved, I think the banks weren't ready for mortgage brokers giving better rates. So we were a small part of the market. And I think after a while, after a few years, they woke up and started getting really competitive with their mortgage specialists.
Oh, really?
So it started like a really easy market and then went to a tough market. Yeah, because the banks started putting their own mortgage specialists, and there was a lot of rate competition and stuff like that, because they started realizing we were getting a bigger part of the pie, and I don't think they liked that too much. So they started coming in hard against the brokers.
We're gonna also talk about the market change in your experience. Like, you had different market change, right?
That's right.
You were in a recession around 2008, and then we're back at it. Maybe get to know more the inside of like what happened in the recessions.
Yeah.
Like, especially in mortgages. And David, like, what did you become a mortgage broker? You're only 22 and decided to like become a mortgage broker and kill it. So
yeah, I started. I jumped in the world of finance at the age of 19. I started as a financial advisor. I still am one today. It's another service I offer my clients. From there, I was always passionate in real estate. So I like sales. I like math. Just so happened that I knew my supervisor was part of the team, Carlos Sardelli. You know him?
Yeah,
very big broker. I knew him through a personal friend. Ended up meeting him, and now we're here. He said, "Why don't you try it out? Go for your test, see what happens." So I'm young, right? There's no harm in trying something.
I started when I was 22, so I'm not that old. I'm 28 only, but man, you remind me a lot of myself when I started. It was very tough. Luckily, you have a beer. I didn't have a beer at that time, so it was.
I told you. I remember in Montreal, you had the dance moves the first time I met you.
I don't only sell mortgages.
You were great. You're great.
Well, thank you. So, let's talk about the market. All right. So, how's the market right now, and how was different from the market before, in your experience?
So I'd say the market right now. Look, I was telling my team just last week on the in the team meeting that I think there's clouds in the sky. I think there's something brewing behind it too. I think it's either a tropical storm or a hurricane, but I definitely think it's going to become a tougher market. We had 2 years of really, sitting at our desk and the deals were walking in. I think that's over. I was trying to convey the message that we have to, get off our butts and start going out there, meeting people, and really going and get the business. I think those years of the business just walking in is over. Like, I don't know about your experience, but like now when I tell a client, they call me up, "What's your rate?" And, I tell them 4.2 or 4.3. Like, there's a moment of silence, They're like, everything goes quiet for 2 minutes. They're like, "What do you mean? Wasn't it at 2%? So I think people haven't realized exactly how much the rates have gone up. But I definitely think it's going to be a tougher market, and the people who are not proactive in going out there and get the business are gonna suffer.
You can easily see it on the debt ratios and the mortgage that you can qualify. If you're going to variable, you could still have the same qualification, but if you're going to fix, you have to add a 2% on the stress test, then you don't qualify for much, right? So that's one of the things that is changing. And with the rate, if you fix a rate for 6 months, after 6 months, we don't know if the client still is going to qualify because we don't know yet.
We don't know. And I think the people who had reserved the rates, they're going to finish. Those people are still going to buy, but after that, it's going to be a tougher market because once those people leave the system, all the people had the pre-qualifications with the new rate at whatever, 4.5, and the variable rates going up as well. I think it's going to be a tougher market.
So, now that's what you're saying to your brokers, right? So get out there, see people. So that's something that you've been doing before this market, where everyone was making money. All the brokers were killing it. Even a new broker that came in, he was very lucky. On IG, on Facebook, everyone's killing it. Everyone's making money. So it's going to be super different.
I think so. I think the brokers that came in the last 2-3 years were killing it, yes. But I think there's going to be a new reality. I think they have to adapt. Everybody's got to adapt. You have to be more proactive, laser focused on how to get deals. Before it was how to work the deals. Now it's how to get deals. So in the past, that's what I had to do. You know, I had to wake up every morning and think of how to go get deals. It wasn't how to work the deals. So I think the way you think has to change. You know, it has to be every morning to be thinking about, okay, who do I go see to get deals? That's what I think the new reality is going to be.
Yeah, we got so used to like sitting at the office and getting deals, getting calls, getting messages. What about you, David? Like, you started how many months ago?
I started last year.
So
I completed
more
my
than 12
last
months.
year a few months ago, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And since you came in the hot market, did you find it easy or it was hard for you?
See, I didn't get to experience that easiness of deals coming in. As a new broker, especially as a young broker, you don't have the trust of your clients, right? You don't have a pipeline, so that was step one, was building your pipeline, getting people to know you, trust you with their deals. So that's been my attitude since day one, is getting deals, having business come in, and then I would bring it in and then worry about getting it done. So I knew I had them supporting me, so whatever questions I had, they were answered, and I took it from there.
When I spoke with you, like you were telling me, like you're gonna do everything in your power to make it, to succeed, especially at your young age. So when I started, I was living with my parents, so I had no responsibilities, no big bills, not like today. So so I gave everything. Yeah. So you remind me of a lot of myself. So what are you gonna do? Like, what are you doing right now to get more business as a new broker? Is there anything special, or are you going out there? What do you do exactly?
Nothing special, but obviously I try and do a little bit of everything. Obviously, as a new broker, I'm trying to see what works for me, right? Because not everyone can do the same thing and it works just as well for everyone else. Like you might be really good at marketing. That might not be my forte. So I'm trying a bit of everything. But it's also a team effort. So we're going out there, we're setting up meetings with real estate agents, with financial planners, with literally anyone that could bring us some value, and we could bring value back to them, right? It's that full circle.
So what's great about David is that he's fearless. Like, I mean, he'll walk into a real estate agent's office, he'll talk to people, and he's a grinder, you know, and I think that's so important. He's a grinder, you know, and every day he'll try to make a contact. And if I tell him, you know, let's hit that real estate agent, he'll be the first one walk in and, you know, talk to people and try to get a meeting. He initiated this podcast, you know, so just to show you that kind of determination is what's gonna make him succeed even more than being a great mortgage broker, knowing your rates. I think that's one part of it, but going out there and getting the business, which I think he has, the drive is what's gonna make him successful. As
a team leader, you're a team leader. You have $150 million of transactions for the last year, and you see that there's gonna be more and more new broker coming in. I'm actually seeing it right now. I'm living it right now. Yeah. And I really don't want to say it, but it's really a bad time for new brokers, you know, because the market is getting hard, and especially for broker like us who's well established. We have a branding, we have a name out there, and we still have to hustle. Like this is the time where we have to go out there also. So. What's your feeling about new brokers that are coming in? There's a lot, because they see on IG all the mortgage brokers are making money. I'm like, okay, it's easy. It won't be easy anymore.
No. So the new brokers that come in, I think ever since COVID, there's a lot of people coming from other industries. Look, there's a lot of good people coming, and I don't want to discourage anybody, but I think their expectations are here where they should be a bit lower. Because the new brokers I speak to, like, you ask them, what's the average volume? Like you ask them, what's your business plan? How much you think you're going to do this year? And they're all
30 million.
They're like 20, really? 30 million. Yeah, it's some crazy numbers. And then, you know, I speak to the head office, and I asked, what's the average volume of a new broker? It's like 2, 3 million, 4 million, maybe 5, a better one the first year. So I think their expectations are here and the reality is here. So I think when you go in, you know, hope for the best, but, you know, prepare for the worst, right? So, like, financially, if you think you're going to make 30 million, leave your job and make 30 million of volume and have a certain salary, it's hard. You're going to be disappointed, right?
Like, for me, myself, like, right now, since I know how to attract business, you probably know how to attract business. And, you know, if you want to have that kind of volume, man, you got to work like a guy who's making $100 million.
Yeah.
if you want to make 10, 20s, like we had this conversation before.
We did. We spoke
You know,
about it.
You were telling telling me that if I want to make 50, I have to work like I'm a guy who was doing $100 million of volume. So it is harder unless you're coming from a banking industry. You already have the contact. You already have a clientele. Easier, but it won't be the case.
Then it's still difficult for sure.
Mm.
You have to put in the work as if you're doing 50 to get 10, right? And that goes with everything, with your marketing, with your meetings. It's not because you start handing out flyers and business cards that you hand out 100, you're gonna get 100 clients. It's not the reality.
That's something to take away from this podcast. Is it's very powerful. Like, if you want to do 10, you got to work like you were doing 50.
That's right.
And most new broker won't have that kind of work ethic.
No, because the last 2 years, I mean, it's been just coming in, So you go into the business, like, I can't think of another business where you walk in, get your license, and get phone calls. Your phone starts ringing. You get like $500,000 mortgages off the bat, and that's the way it's been the last few years. You have a Zoom conversation. You tell the client the rate is 1.8 for 5 years. Everybody's doing something too, right? Refinance, a transfer.
Refinance was easier. Purchases was easier. Like if you refinance, if let's say the client has a lot of debts, like you could easily refinance and save money to the client.
Values were going up.
Values are
so
going up.
There was always refinancing to do.
Real estate agents were making a bunch of money.
I should have started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what you guys
No, I think David, I think you're gonna make it because you have the drive. Yeah. So all I'm trying to say is you have to have the drive, and I think because we're entering a tough market, the clouds are gonna be out there. The brokers who don't have the drive are not going to make it. It's very simple.
We have this conversation. It looks like you were very discouraging, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is to just teach people that if you put the work, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. There's no chance that you don't make it if you put the work.
No, for sure. Look, when I started, they were doing 0 down 40 years, like I said, but then they started closing. Every 2-3 years they would put new rules, then they would put the qualifying rate, and we got over it. For us, when they told us the qualifying rate at 525, it was a shock to the industry, right? It was like, what do you mean we have to qualify on 525 on the
I came in when maybe a month before the rule change, so I didn't see how was different before.
It was different because we were qualifying. Let's say 3% was their rate, 3%, 35-year amortization. We'd qualify the client, right? Yeah. So it gives you the amount of mortgage would be so much more, right? So when they throw in that 525,
it wasn't 525. It was around
479. And it was the posted rate. Yeah. That's right. It was the posted rate. But in 2008, I think the rates went down, and we were qualifying at 30 years at 2.5, 2.7. So the mortgage amounts were really high, right? So when they threw in that rule, it was like, wow, it was a real shocker to the industry. I know a lot of I was shocked, but we got over it. And, at the end of the day, everybody has a mortgage. And I think that as long as we add value to our clients, we'll always be successful.
What I tell people that I know that are in the industry, so it's like mortgage brokers and realtors, they will never go out of business. Never. AI won't take our place for now. For the next maybe 20 years, I'm very sure about it. Everyone needs a mortgage. Everyone needs a loan, and people buy and sell. So we're here for the next 20 years. That's for sure. Yeah, for sure. Now we just have to adapt. You're good, brother. You're great. But the thing that you have to remember is you have to adapt, right?
Yeah.
And I feel I want to get your input on that. I feel like the refinance will be really hard. There won't be as much refinance than before, So what's your input? Because I think the rates are higher, so it won't be very advantage for the client to refinance the property.
No, for sure. I mean, the values, I don't think when the rates start, they've already climbed, but when people start realizing that, when supply starts entering the market and it's going to be a more balanced market, I'm sure there's going to be less sales. Values might drop a little bit, so the value goes down. Refinances are going to be harder because if you have a rate of 2%, why would you refinance to go get a 4%, right?
People that save the rate for like 2%, 3%, like just a couple of months before.
Yeah.
You know, if they sign for 5 years, they won't break it. But before, it was easier to, say to the client, hey, break it because you will have a better rate.
Yeah.
You save more money. It won't be the case anymore.
Won't be the case. So
Yeah.
Our approach is gonna have to change.
Yeah.
We have to adapt to that for sure.
But I'm very sure, guys, if you focus on B lending and private lending, there's gonna be a lot of business.
yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of business.
Yeah. So the strategy, that I thinking of is B lending. I'm doing some more commercial, like multi-unit. Multi-units are tough too because of the market. But I think when you do a bit of B lending, a bit of private, a bit of a bit of everything, I think you'll be all right.
What do you feel about the private lending and B lending? Is it something that you guys do a lot?
We do a bit of everything, honestly. Especially me, I've tried to touch at least every single file that I can in any category. I'm open to anything, honestly.
Yeah, so that's it. David's fearless, so he'll take commercial deal. I'm like, David,
66 units, figure
I
it
go,
out.
David, no, you're not doing that. It's too much. Let's bring it here and
that's
let's
how you
go
learn,
together.
right?
Yeah, he's fearless. So.
You don't have school to learn commercial, like
No, but sometimes some people you have to rein them in a little bit.
I had a good school. It's called the School of Claudio, and that's no joke. Every week for the first 6 months, we were meeting every week, and I was bringing him a topic with questions, and that's how I learned. Because new brokers, and this is good for them to know. Tu sors de l'école, t'es pas prêt à être courtier.
Oh, wow, t'as switch
Ouais,
up.
j'ai switched, sorry.
Wow, amazing. No, that's fine. That's fine. On peut faire ça. On peut
Tu
faire ça.
sors de l'école, t'es pas prêt à être courtier.
Ouais.
Tu connais absolument rien. C'est ça que j'ai réalisé. Ça, c'était, we were talking about reality versus expectation.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Like, you do not expect to start getting deals done left and right. It's not the case.
Dis-moi, David.
David.
Donc, le fait que là, tu commences, ça a commencé il y a quelques mois, avoir un mentor comme Claudio, à quel point ça t'aide? Et peux-tu expliquer aux nouveaux courtiers à quel point c'est important aussi? Parce qu'on a parlé déjà, je sais c'est quoi ta réponse, c'est pour ça que je pose la prochaine question, qui est à quel point c'est super important, puis on va arriver à Claudio après. À quel point toi, c'est for you, Claudio, like what is, how do you keep your brokers in after I knowing you for 5 years, you had the same broker. I don't feel like there's a lot of change in your team, not much because you're a good team leader. The reality is you're a good team leader because otherwise people will leave it for goes somewhere else, right?
To be honest, Sirjan, I'll let you answer first. Okay, I'll answer now. You answer. Okay. So for mine, I don't think I started out as a good team leader.
Yeah.
I think I became a better team leader. And I think the thing that you have to realize when you're a team leader that I realized later is that you have to be selfless. So you have to give up your time and not focus so much on building your business, because you have to realize that you have to build other people. And only when you realize that you have to become selfless to build other people's business so they can, in turn, at the end, build a good team, have a good team surrounding you. I think only at that point, when you realize that you have to become selfless, will you be a good team leader? If you're a team leader that's doing whatever 100 million and you have a team, I don't think you're giving enough time to your team. Yeah, it's just my personal opinion.
That's true. So I just started a team, maybe 2 months ago. So I signed 4 new brokers.
It's hard.
It's a big challenge for me, but I'm ready to take the challenge because this is where I want to get to, and I know it's a learning curve because you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. So, what is your best advice for me? And we'll get to David after, because we were talking about.
So, my best advice to you, and the hardest thing for me was letting go of my business, because over the 5 years you've built your business, and you woke up every morning thinking how am I gonna make this business better? Well, now you have to kind of separate your time and your passion between 50% on your business, and I would say another 50% on your broker's business to try to lift them up, because if you don't lift them up, they'll leave. So it's hard to let go of your personal business because you spend so much time, and every morning you woke up and says, how am I going to build this? How am I going to make this better? Whereas you have to kind of say, okay, I'm going to continue to make this better, but I got to give 50% of my time to my brokers to try to build this aspect. And I think once you make that state of mind change, is when you become a great team, a good, better and even great team leader.
Great, thank you so much, Claudio. And what about you, David? On disait à quel point c'est important d'avoir un mentor. Comment ça t'a aidé et comment tu profites de Claudio, en fait?
C'est pas juste important, c'est nécessaire. Honnêtement, quand tu commences à avoir un bon mentor, être dans une bonne équipe, tu peux pas t'en passer, c'est sûr. C'est quand tu commences, comme tu as dit, quelqu'un qui commence déjà avec des contacts, qui a déjà un background dans l'industrie, c'est un peu plus facile. C'est toujours difficile, mais un peu plus facile. Si tu prends quelqu'un qui est green, qui rentre, qui n'a pas vraiment de pipeline, d'où tu vas sortir ta business? Fait que c'est lui, c'est Carlo, c'est Massimo. Ils me donnent des petits deals à faire. OK, build this file. C'est dans ton CRM, build it in Boss. Work the file, come back to me. Si tu as des questions, on va se parler. Puis tu commences comme ça. Après ça, c'est des 50-50. C'est vraiment eux autres qui m'ont commencé. Puis ils sont assez généreux pour me donner un 50-50. Puis c'est ton client. Puis ça, c'est beaucoup, ça. Parce que tu le prends comme si c'est ton client. Puis tu dois donner ton 100%, évidemment. Mais à la fin de ça, tu as l'impression que, OK, j'ai vraiment aidé quelqu'un. Puis ça donne ton momentum. C'est comme ça que tu commences. Puis c'est pas juste le mentor, c'est l'équipe au complet.
Donc, tu n'as pas peur de travailler pour la moitié de la commission?
Moi, je travaillerais pour zéro. Non,
I like this guy.
Faut que tu commences. Faut que tu commences quelque part. Moi, je suis pas rentré en disant OK, moi, je vais faire X nombre de volumes. C'était vraiment pas ça. Oui, on s'est donné un objectif, mais l'objectif a été dépassé déjà quasiment. Puis j'ai encore beaucoup à apprendre. Fait que c'est pas ça l'important.
Je te le dis, man, j'avais le même mindset. J'ai travaillé pour Eric.
Oui.
Au début, mes 2 premières années. La meilleure chose que j'ai faite, j'ai fait 12 500 $. Puis on avait séparé la job avec mon partenaire Antal.
Antal, yes.
Alors, pour Eric, c'était 2 pour 1. Si un lâche, l'autre va rester. Donc, et son salaire de 25 000, il l'a séparé à 2.
Wow.
Alors, pour moi, j'aurais fait à nouveau, si je devais recommencer à nouveau, à stage, bien sûr. Là, mes factures sont plus gros. Je ne pourrais pas faire la même chose, mais tu vois, c'est la meilleure chose que j'ai faite. 5 ans plus tard, j'étais directeur chez Multi-Prêts. Aujourd'hui, team leader. Je vais faire la même chose chez les architectes où je vais continuer à développer avec les courtiers. C'est pas présenter devant un courtier et dire envoie-moi la business de privé du B. Tu dois avoir beaucoup plus de connaissances que la majorité. Ouais. Et ces connaissances, en 5 ans, comment je l'ai fait, c'est en apprenant d'une personne qui avait 15 ans d'expérience. Et ça, c'est avec Eric. Puis il y a aussi Victor chez Multi-Prêts, où j'ai appris la business bancaire. Victor, c'est un très gros courtier avec au-delà de 60 millions de volume d'affaires.
Ouais.
Donc, man, amazing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Je te dis, même le fait que tu es prêt à travailler pour zéro.
He's ready to learn too. He also tells me, Claudio, let's do a school of Claudio, let's do...
Tout le temps.
Tell us a lot about yourself.
Rapid fire questions.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Parce que souvent, comme je reçois des nouveaux courtiers qui m'appellent, qui veulent des conseils, ou ils sont même prêts à rejoindre mon équipe, puis ils regardent déjà comment ils peuvent mettre plus dans leur poche.
Yeah.
Je comprends que peut-être que vous avez des responsabilités, mais cette game-là, guys, you gotta be ready to sacrifice yourself because this is not an easy game.
No, it's not. And I think the way I see it, I don't know if it's the right way, but I hire, because it's hard when you meet someone to know. So I hire fast, but I try to fire even faster, So if I see, I'll take them in. If I get a good feeling, I'll take them in. And if I see, all that's on their mind is that 5 bips, 10 bip, or whatever, commission is the only thing on their mind, I let them go. Or I see there's not that drive, I let them go, because the way I see it is that our precious asset is our time, right, Serjan? Your time is worth.
Yeah.
That's where you make your money, So if I'm giving my time to David, I know if I'm giving my time to someone else, I'm not giving it to David. I'm not giving it to my business, right? So if you don't appreciate the fact that I'm giving my time, you gotta go.
My mentality is I'm gonna only give 80. I'm gonna give 80% of my time to the 20% of my team, because I know that there's some people that will come in and like you just said, they're not worth our time. Unfortunately,
yes.
Unfortunately, they're not worth our time. You want to have my 80% of my time, then become the 20% of my team.
Exactly.
So
Good
in
point.
that, that's how I'm gonna build my team, and so people's gonna get, they're gonna get more hungrier to become successful and get more leads, more business.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it motivates you as a team leader because he's listening and he's doing better. So it inspires you, inspires him because, he's doing well and he's doing better. He's taking on deals. Like someone who's working part-time somewhere else, it's hard, man. I know that we'll have responsibilities. Don't get me wrong. If they're doing it a little bit to start, but I think the brokers who are doing it part-time,
especially in this market, forget
it.
And now our business is usually the second career for most of us. I started as a first job, like my first career, but because we were young. But for most of us, it's like they started in 30s, 40s. They still have to have another job. So, like my best advice, as soon as you can start as full time, it's better, especially in this market.
Yeah, as soon as you can start full time, it's the best thing to do it. I know it's hard. I know we all have responsibilities. So when you come into the business, I always tell them to have a financial cushion. That's super important. A financial cushion, and try to give it your 100% and not have two jobs, because when you do too many things, you're really doing nothing right.
Sure. Where's your area right now? Like, where do you focus yourself in? Which market?
So I'm really focused. So the team and I, Équipe Connexion, we formed a team and we were really attacking the East End market. So we really think there's a big opportunity there. We're building the team. We want to make it bigger. So if anybody wants to join the East End market, we're opened. So our big, hairy, audacious goal is to really dominate the East End. We want to be the go-to brokers for the East End for mortgages. So anybody thinks mortgages in the East End, it's got to be us.
Hey, how are you gonna do it? That's what we're here for, right? How are you gonna do it? Like, what's your strategies? So what, like you David, what are you trying to do? What are you gonna do exactly to like get more share of the market?
So, as a new broker, you try and touch a bit of everything. So my mentality is just never say no. Don't ever refuse a file. You always take the file and bring it in, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. So that ties into your mentality of, going out and getting business. So like we said before, if we can add value to someone, we're knocking on their door. So financial planners, real estate agents, really anyone, even mortgage specialists in different banks that we don't necessarily do business with for everything. We'll build a relationship with them because we might end up sending a file to them or vice versa. My niche of something that I want to target now, which is just a new avenue I want to explore, would be, let's say, les nouveaux arrivants or foreign investors. So that's one thing that we're trying to tap into. Honestly, any idea is good at this point, and we're all working together in the team. One of our brokers, Gabrielle, she started at the same time as I did. We bounce ideas off each other. We help each other out. We go see people together. That's just part of it.
What about you, Claudio? Like, what are you teaching your team and also by yourself? What are you trying to do?
So I'm trying to give them like an objective. So I think when new brokers, when they come in, they're a bit everywhere, and I was too, so it's normal. So I try to give them an objective. So the objective is to be the #1 in the East End. So it gives them a place to start, it gives them a place. Let me go see accountants in the East End. Let me go see. So I try to promote going to see accountants, financial planners. And I think the biggest opportunity that we have right now is real estate agents. Ever since we went from OSIC, like we talked about a little bit.
Please do.
Yeah, so we talked about how we were with the OSIC, and now we went over to the EMF. I think it's a great thing. The reason is, due to the changes in the industry, we become a lot more competitive. So in the past, mortgage specialists, we couldn't really compete with them because they were paying 0.5, and I never entered that game. I never wanted to give 0.5 of my commission to a real estate agent.
I remember like a small story where you're talking about that. I called, like, this is when I started. I didn't know much, so I called a real estate agent, and that time we were with OSIC, and I called him. I'm like, hey, bro, like, I want to build a relationship with you. And one of the questions he asked me is like, how much you give? I'm like,
That was the first question.
Yeah, one of the first. And I'm like, listen, I around 0.20, like it's a lot of work for us, but what is really important that the deal is gonna happen, and make sure that deal happen. You know what? There's a guy who gave me 0.80.
That's crazy.
0.80. I'm like, really? I was surprised. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was true or not. I was like, really? Like usually people give 0.5, even at the bank. He's like, no, I give 0.80. He's still in the business. I can't name his name. He's still in the business. I'm like, bro. To be honest, we get 1% around there, so no way I can give you 0.80. But I'm not sure. I'm gonna get back to you on that. So I spoke to people because I was naive. I didn't know like if it's and. This guy just bullshit me, man.
He's trying to work you.
0.80. Anyway.
He's trying to work you, right?
Crazy.
It's crazy. So that's it. So I think we have a great opportunity now because of the changes in the MF. So now the mortgage specialists are pretty much giving 0.2, more or less there. So I think we can give 0.2, 0.20 or 20% of our commission, which is reasonable because we still make 1%. 20%, but we offer so much more value. We have, 12, 15 lenders we deal with. So like, why would you do a deal with a mortgage specialist where you're getting the same money and have half the chances or a quarter of the chances of getting the mortgage approved? Like, as much as I do, if we can't do a file, pretty much,
there's nothing to do.
It's not gonna happen, right?
Not gonna happen.
The guy, I don't want to name any banks, but the guy at the financial institution has one shot at it, right? If it doesn't work with BMO or CIBC, the specialist has nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
So real estate agents is a big opportunity that we didn't have in the past because now we can pay just as much as a mortgage specialist, and we offer so much more in terms of value, in terms of opportunity to get the file approved, in terms of even rates. Like, I mean, we're always competitive. We're not always the best, but we're always competitive. So I don't see why a real estate agent would do business with a mortgage specialist anymore.
And
they don't.
And that is true. And to just add on that, Remaxes, they're opening their own mortgage firms. So it tells a lot that they're also believing in mortgage brokers now, even though they refer to like a mortgage broker from Remax, but it's already better than referring to a mortgage specialist. It's not that there's a lot of mortgage specialists, especially that listen to our podcast. So it's not trying to bash them.
No.
But the reality is there's business for everyone, and obviously I'm going to stand for mortgage brokers, and obviously I'm going to push the mortgage brokers than mortgage specialists. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's also going to be a lot of mortgage specialists who are going to come into our industry, which is good. So I encourage my brokers. Well, David, they're amazing. Like, I'm lucky. The thing about being a team leader is that you try to put good ideas. Well, you think are good ideas out there, but it's when they take them and they incorporate them that really makes you that's the satisfaction you get. So when I tell David, go see a real estate agent because this and that in the past they used to pay 0.5. Like he didn't know what I think about the 0.5 and all that. You're like, really? So. And I tell them, give him 20% to your commission, and you get deals, get a relationship, and so he goes out and he does it and he gets the deal. It's great.
What's your reality, man? Like when you go out there and talk to realtors, what are the challenges? How do you overcome them as a new broker?
Some challenges as a new broker. Obviously, you're not established, right? You don't have years of experience backing you up, especially as a young new broker. It's even tougher, but. Look, you overcome it by you start with one deal, you give it your all, and every other deal after that, you give your 100% and you work on it.
What about realtors? My question was with like when you approach real estate agents, like.
To be honest with you, my approach with real estate agents, I would target newer realtors. So someone with just as much experience as me. From my point of view, I bring so much more value to you because you don't know anything about the financing side. And as a new realtor, just like as a new mortgage broker, you want your deal to go through, right? You depend on that commission. A lot of them are desperate for that deal to go through. So you come in with a solution. Like we're 100% solution based. So I have quite a few relationships, but all with new real estate agents. So they're just as green as I am. in the industry. So that's one way that I approached it. I know quite a few experienced real estate agents. Like, we're all from the same area, so we know them more or less. And I don't know if it's coincidence. I don't know if it's the mindset nowadays, but those older brokers, real estate agents, first thing they say is, how much do you give on your commission? I don't give anything, because I bring value to your business, you bring value to mine. Without each other, we don't really have any business, right? That's agents are the majority of where we'll get our business from. And without us, they won't get their deals done, most of them, right? That's the mindset you need to have. So I think it's a question of,
what's your comeback when you say you don't give anything? What's the expectation?
The added value that I bring as a mortgage broker with all the lenders we work with, and not just the lenders that I work with, but in the B, in the private, and there's the fact that we can work with other mortgage brokers if ever we need to get a deal done. That's worth more than any commission that a specialist will give you.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. What I tell the realtors is what is important for you? The 0.20, the 0.30 you're begging to have, or
your deal getting done.
You're getting your deal getting done.
Absolutely. I never paid in the past, but I'm just thinking now. I don't know if you agree with me. Now it's changing because I think that we really have an opportunity to go get the whole market, right? So even if we do pay that 0.20, we'll get a lot more volume. So that's the way I'm thinking of it. But in the past, you're absolutely right, David. I never paid.
Well, for me, it's a free business I got, right? Yeah. The only marketing I did is with the realtor, get to know him, talk to him, spend time with him. But other than that, it's a free business. So for me, maybe he spoke with the client for 6 months of time just to have the client ready, and then he referred to me. So I don't mind paying 20%.
Yeah.
20-25. I have a referral program. This is something I got from Tony from Group Orbis. He was telling me that he has a referral program where I don't know if that's the number, but this is what I have function. 1 to 2 files is 20%, 2 to 5 files 25, and 5 and more 30. So it's an incentive for the brokers to give more business to me, so I'll be able to give more. If you want more, just last week, I talked to a realtor. So for private lending. So I never spoke with him before. So I'm like, hey, I heard that you have a file that is very difficult to pass. I'll be able to help you. This is what I specialize in. He's like, the first question, how much you give? I'm like, are you serious, bro? We didn't even talk about the file yet. I don't even know if it's doable.
That in the past. That's why.
He didn't understand. And he's like, moi j'ai des courtiers qui me donnent 30, 40, 50%. Je dis, mais on peut-tu comme franchir peux-tu me parler du dossier? Ça me fait plaisir de te donner 20%. Et tu veux me donner plus, je vais donner encore plus.
Yeah, you got to get past that.
Come on, brother.
Yeah, I know. But some don't never get it. Let's be honest, some will never get it.
Some are tough to work with, for sure.
No, but some will never get it. And I think the challenge we have is to, maybe they don't even understand the value we bring. Yeah. They don't understand how many, that we have 15 banks, that we have B lend. You're in the B, it's powerful. The 6 months deposits, with home trust, self-employed, it's power. They don't know that, so they don't know you could do that. So I think education.
Maybe they don't know
what you can do.
The value that we bring. Yeah, I think that's part of it.
It's I support realtors. That's what I do. This podcast, I invite brokers so we can get to know them, share their knowledge also, because there's a lot of realtors that listen to our podcast, and some of them listen to the mortgage brokers podcast. So it's not we're not trying to bash you guys. We're not trying to we're trying to just work together.
Yeah.
Tell you guys what are the advantages we have and how you can have more business by working with us.
Yeah, because we also have the pre-approvals.
Crazy, man.
Those are
I've gotten calls at 11 o'clock at night saying, can you pre-approve my client for tomorrow morning?
Yeah, okay, we can do it.
But then I'll get it done for you, but you want 30% of the commission.
It's not too big on that 30%. But it's all the way you structure your business. And we also have the pre-approvals, right? So we can refer an agent to those. That's value. That's big, right?
That's a 2.5% for the brokers, right?
Yeah. So I think working with realtors now, moving forward, is going to be a different ballgame. I think before it was more competitive in terms of our space because there was the mortgage specialist paying 0.5. But I think moving forward, I think mortgage brokers and real estate agents could have a really nice, like a good chemistry and move the industry forward because, you know, when a real estate agent basically works with a mortgage broker, we can give the pre-approvals. We can get the deal done because we deal with so many banks. It's in everybody's interest, and the client's happier because he has a good real estate agent, a good mortgage broker.
Like it's full service, yeah.
Full service, you know. And if you have a notary that's good, you know, it's very powerful. You know, I think real estate agent and mortgage brokers have to come together.
Definitely, and there's gonna, like you said, there's gonna be a change. Remax are opening their own mortgage firm, so they're seeing
they believe in our space, right?
Yeah, they believe in our space, and also we have to go to those mortgage agencies and try to partner up with them. Like I still see today on Remax galas and all the function they always have the biggest sponsors, the mortgage specialist banks, the banks. Biggest sponsors.
Yeah, they're a force to reckon with, right? So they're not going to give up so easily.
Yeah.
But
we have to go there. We have to go.
We have to go. Yeah, we have to hit them. We have. That's why. That's all part of what we were saying, that we have to get out there, right? So, because and also the thing is, Serjan, they've dealt with the mortgage specialist for last 10 years. So there's relationships there.
Yeah,
and we're just not going to walk in, and that's what I try to explain also. And we're not just going to walk in. Yeah, we'll give you a 20% commission. You know, we got to build that relationship that they've built over 10 years. So even though we provide so much more value, we got to gain that trust. And once we gain that trust, I think we'll be a lot more powerful than a mortgage specialist. But we still got to do the work, you know, because there's relationships there over there.
That's why we're having a conversation here, right?
Yeah.
So trying to like share like our perspective of how we should react to realtors and how we should get more share of the market, and how we should maybe go out there and go get this, do those sponsors, be out there, be in those functions. And, you know, I'd rather see Multi-Prêts, Près, or architects as a sponsor than bank that's only sponsoring. And, you know, I think that we have to go there, and we will probably go.
Yeah, I think so. I think like whatever. If I see this, it means other people are seeing it as well. So, and especially like other big players in the industry. So I think we're going to go there, and I think we should. And if they're not, they're making a big mistake, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And David, what do you see where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what's your
in 5 years?
Yeah.
I don't usually look that far ahead. No, honestly, in 5 years.
And at 22, eh?
I'll still be
27.
No, but him at 22, you don't look that far ahead.
No, look, I take it day by day.
Yeah.
Every day, my objective, honestly, like in 5 years from now, every year, I want to be helping twice as many people.
Right? So doubling your numbers.
Not necessarily my numbers per se, but more in the clients that I help. That was more my mentality.
It comes
hand in hand for sure. Yeah. So if I'm helping one person a week now, next year is 2 people a week, 4, 6, 4, 8, and you keep moving from there. 5 years from now, as the team grows, we're all going to be a force to be reckoned with in the East End. You know, we'll really take over that market. I really believe in the team, and the team grows, I'll grow, each broker grows. We'll see. There's possibilities are endless.
And we're talking about the podcast that you started listening to the podcast from the beginning.
Yeah.
How is there anything that you apply from the podcast you learn?
Everything.
Everything.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
They make fun of me at the office, but I have this little black book that I write pointers in. So sometimes I'll listen to them. He's on the phone, and I'll be outside his office. I guess I'm ready to write something down. You know, it's no joke.
But even the podcast, you told me.
The podcast, I would watch the podcast. I've watched almost all of them, honestly. The recent
Who's your favorite?
ones. My favorite one, I think the one with Ariel Gervais.
Really?
Just because she's very analytical and she really knows her stuff. You know, so she was blurring stuff out, and those were all stuff that, you know, when I listened to it, this was last year, I had no idea what she was talking about. So I'm writing everything down, fact checking, applying it to different files. So no, for sure. Look, the Les Courtiers du Québec, the whole platform was almost having, as if I was having, you know, another team back me up. So
Man,
I
I
was
love what you're
surrounded by
saying, bro.
them, but I was surrounded by the podcast as well. So, double check everything, apply it, make mistakes, and no, for sure, it really, really did help. It's a very, very important listen,
I
for sure.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
And only another mortgage broker knows what you're thinking, like has an idea of what you're thinking, and putting it out there, we could relate. It's nice to have in our industry someone who's putting their information out there, so we can relate and get ideas from.
Yeah.
And see other people in the industry, what the other people are doing, and you take the best of every person, you're going to become a better broker, right?
Like they're sharing their knowledge that they got from their experience. Stuff
Definitely.
that would take me 10, 15, 16 years to learn. Well, he just said it, but I'm going to apply
Yeah,
it.
and sometimes, like, it's not about 10, 15 years, because if we don't keep up, we become a bit dated, right? So sometimes new brokers, they come in, or like the podcast, or new brokers come in and say, do this, do it this way. Did you ever think about doing this way? And I'm like, I didn't think of that all these years, and we never thought about that.
So one of the surprising moments is when George Badaji, he told me that he was listening to my podcast. I'm like, really, man? You have 30 years of experience. You're one of the real estate masters, gurus on the real estate broker side, and you still watch the podcast. So it means a lot. It means a lot. It tells a lot about him, like, having always this mindset of learning new things. So
imagine, like you have to only with a mindset like that can you become.
And it's a fast market where things change all the time, marketing wise, the way you prospect, everything change all the time. So it's very important that you keep yourself updated. That's something that I very often preach. And even like a guy like David, like I'm ready to listen to this guy because I'm getting old right now. Like I'm 28, so the market changing. TikTok is now
for sure.
the platform to to be at. So like everything is changing. So it's very important to
adapt, to stay up to date, for sure.
So guys, like, Claudio? Like, what do you want to be in 5 years?
5 years, I want to be the dominant force in the East End. I really want to be Équipe Connexion to become the go-to team for mortgages in the East End, and then work my way west. But just having a solid team, and after the 5 years, maybe pulling back a little bit and focusing more on other things. But in the next 5 years, I really want to give it a good run to have a solid, good quality team.
And talking about a team, let's talk about the agency, like cabinet.
Yeah.
Like choosing the right cabinet for you. You guys are big names. Multi-Prêts is a big name. I was in Multi-Prêts.
Yeah, you were with us.
I only have good stuff to say about Multi-Prêts. I've been with Près also. Now I'm with Architects. So I experienced different cabinets in the last 5 years. So for a new broker that's not sure where to go, who to go to, what's your best advice? How do you select the best cabinet for yourself?
For me, it's not about the best cabinet. It's more about the best team you have to be in. The cabinet, like Multi-Prêts. For me, it's hard for me to say, Sir John. I've been Multi-Prêts for
forever, right?
Forever, for 16 years. I see good, I saw a little, they stalled a little bit, but now ever since Luc Bernard took over, I think good things are happening with Dino. And for me, it's like they're really pushing the envelope in the mortgage industry. They're bringing technology. They're bringing in new ways of doing stuff. So they're really moving forward. So for me, it's Multi-Prêts is good. But I think choosing the right one and being in a good team is even more important. You probably know better than me. You've experienced all three of them.
Well, what I say to new brokers, you could be with the biggest cabinet, but if you're in a shitty team where the team leader is not there for you, then what's the point? What's the point?
It's the most important thing.
And you guys see at Multi-Prêts or Architect or hypothécaires, this guy is making $100 million. People go to other cabinets also. It's not because you're the biggest that then they're the only one who get all the business. It's all based on the broker, who you work with, how smart you are, how creative you are as a broker. And that's something that I tell brokers, you know, like when they have to select a team or a cabinet, what's your feeling about that?
Yeah, look, new brokers, I think wherever you go, Serjan, like, I mean, it has to come with, your success has to come from within. So you got to be ready to do all those things we talked about, like throughout the hour, and being in a good team. And so, I mean, the industry as a whole has the cabinets, they pretty much, you know, they offer not the same thing, but more or less it's not that much different, right? Like you've been to all three of them.
Exactly.
So yeah, there are competitive edges, you know, maybe Multi-Prêts, they have a bit more teaching, and whereas somebody else, they have like some other qualities, right? Yeah. But I think overall it has to come from within. I don't know, that's my opinion.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the banner's got to give you value. You know, if you're at the, like for me, Multi-Prêts gives me value. You know, I see the stuff they're doing, and Sylvain and all that stuff, and I see it gives me value. So as soon as the banner stops giving you value, you should leave. You know, like if you feel like the banner's not giving you value, you shouldn't be with that banner.
Amazing, man. I had the best parties at Multi-Prêts.
We have one next week.
Huh?
We have one next week.
You're gonna miss me, bro.
Yeah, it was used to rock those parties.
Man, because you guys are a lot of brokers, you know that.
It's fun.
It wasn't. It's not the same as somewhere else. I hope that you know, with Architect it's gonna be the same. Let's hope we have 200 brokers.
Riyad's known to have a good party.
Riyadh knows. Riyadh knows. I never been to one, so hope that what we should do is have something where all cabinets.
Yeah. Because our competition is not each other. Our competition is, you know, the big banks with the mortgage specialists.
A party where all the mortgage brokers are the same place.
Yeah, a big party with all the mortgage brokers would be great.
I'll be there.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah?
Les courtiers du Québec.
If anybody can, it's you, my friend.
You guys will be down to
I'm there.
yeah, okay.
Let's make you organize.
Let's make it happen. And what I want to do is bring realtors also inside. So we're a place where 500 mortgage brokers and realtors, the same place. Imagine the potential, all the potential there's gonna be, you know.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Équipe Connexion sponsors the party.
Hey, I need sponsors, guys. I need sponsors. Definitely, I need sponsors. So, guys, it was a great conversation.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you guys want to share beyond what we discussed? Is there anything that you guys want to know?
No, I just want to say thanks for having us, and continue your good work. For the new brokers and more experienced brokers, you're still giving us a lot of information and showing us what's out there. So good stuff, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And David, man, good luck. Good luck, bro. Thank you for you know, pushing Claudio to be here. Yeah. You know. So like I think it was a great conversation. It was a kind of different from what I used to do. Already three-way conversation. Also, we're talking about the market more often than the marketing, the prospecting, and all that kind of stuff. But I think there's a lot of knowledge here in this conversation. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks
man.
for having us.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Alright tout le monde, j'espère que vous avez apprécié l'épisode. Pour plus de contenu, cliquez la vidéo ici ou ici. Et surtout, guys, si vous voulez me remercier, n'oubliez pas de commenter, liker, partager et surtout abonnez-vous à ma page pour que j'amène encore plus de contenu uniquement pour vous.